Hi, I'm Helen, and today's practice is a class for when you're feeling tired. This may be ideal to do if you've just completed a set of shifts or you've just woken up off of night duty. Hopefully it will bring a little bit of nurture into your body. You may need a couple of blocks for this practice and a yoga belt. If you don't have a yoga belt, you can just use a tie or anything that's like a long strap. We'll start lying on the back. If you have blocks, grab them now, and we'll come into Supta Baddha Konasana. So this is reclined bound angle pose. Bring the feet to the floor, directly underneath the knees, then bring the soles of the feet together and just allow the knees to flop open. If you have blocks, you can place them just at the sides of the hips, just to give a little bit of support to the legs so you don't strain the inner groin. The palms turn up to the sky, tuck the shoulders under and rotate the hands so the thumbnails touch the floor. So this just brings a little bit of openness into the chest. Close the windows of the eyes, turn the arrows of attention inwards and start to centering on your breathing. Notice in the inhalation and the exhalation, and just breathe in a pattern that suits your body. So when we're feeling tired, one way to get a little bit more energy in the body is to lengthen the inhale. When we lengthen the inhale, it's more exhilarating and uplifting. If you want to feel more relaxed, lengthen the exhale. So choose a breath pattern that suits you in your body today. Be here for a couple more breaths. Just observing the contact of the body on the earth. Feeling grounded and supported. And if you have yoga blocks at the side of the legs, just remove them, place them to one side, and bring the hands outside the thighs and just press the knees together. Bring the knees into the chest, keeping the entire spine flat to the floor. Give yourself a tight squeeze. This is Apanasana. Deep compression here in the hips. Then take each hand on each knee and we'll move through a couple of knee circles in each direction. So circle the knees clockwise 3 times, massaging out the lower back and the sacrum, and then 3 the other way. Then return to the center, release the feet to the floor. Lift the hips up and just plant them to the right side of the mat. Knees come back up. Arms come out to cactus or to a T, and exhale the knees over to the left. If it feels good on the neck, you can turn the head to face the right. Using the breath, carrying out a mini observation of the body. Where can you feel tightness? If you're feeling tightness in any area, then just mentally send the breath there and try to soften. And then inhale, return to neutral. Feet come down, lift the hips and then shuffle them over to the left side of the mat. Inhale the knees up and then exhale, release the knees over to the right. Head may turn to the left if it feels good. And tune into the breath. Maybe you can feel some tightness in the left outer hip, If you can, just mentally send the breath there. And inhale, return to center. Squeeze the knees in one more time. And then gently rock up to seated, and we'll come over the knees into tabletop. So hands are planted directly underneath the shoulders and knees directly underneath the hips. Move through a few rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, belly drops and the chest comes through the gates of the arms, head lifts. Exhale, reverse the movement, push the upper shoulders up to the ceiling, pelvis tucks under. Inhale, lift, belly drops. Exhale, reverse the movement. One more of these. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, reverse. Return to center, keeping the hands planted. Lift the right leg directly behind and then swing it over and plant it on outside the left side of the mat. Look over the left shoulder towards the right foot, feeling a stretch in the right side body. Then inhale, center. Replace the leg. Inhale, left leg comes up straight behind. Exhale, plant the left foot outside the right side of the mat. Look over the right shoulder. Breathe here. So just opening the side body. Then inhale, lift and return to center. We'll come up to the knees and move into Parigasana, gate pose. So knees are directly underneath the hips. Bring the right leg out to the side so the foot is level with the knee. Pelvis is facing forward. Inhale the arms up and exhale, release over to the right. So you can keep the hands elevated like this, or you can bring this right hand on the outside of the right leg and descend over to the side. So keep the body in the side plane. You don't want to be coming forward like this or back like that. This is a side stretch. You should feel a nice opening here. Then inhale, lift. Exhale, return. Second side. Left leg extends out. Lift out of the waist. Inhale, arms come up and then descend over to the left. Release this hand down if it feels good. Breathe here. Then inhale, lift and come back to neutral. Return to hands and knees and we'll move into downward facing dog. So hands move forward about one handprint in front of the shoulders. Tuck the toes and then lift the sit bones to the sky. So you may have bent knees. Concentrate on getting the sit bones up to the sky. Ground down into the base of the knuckles. Finger pads are gripping the floor. Imagine you have a bubble underneath your palm and you're trying to preserve it. Collarbones are wide. Triceps rotated under. Lift out of the wrists. Head is between the triceps. And then maybe you can start to descend the heels. Don't worry if your heels don't touch the floor. It all depends on the openness of your hamstrings and the flexibility of the ankles. One more breath here. And then inhale, rock forward to plank. Bring this right foot up, step it between the hands. Left knee descends. Keep the left hand planted underneath the left shoulder. Descend the hips and inhale, open to the sky. Right arm comes up. Shoulders away from the ears. Hips are descending. Twist is coming from the mid-back. Make sure that right foot is completely planted on the floor. and exhale, release down. Lift the back knee, step back, downward facing dog. Take a breath to reset. Then inhale, rock forward to plank. Engage the core, left foot steps up between the heels, and exhale, descend the back knee. Right hand plants directly underneath the right shoulder. Inhale, left arm to the sky. Descending the hips, shoulders away from the ears, twists coming from the back. Really engage the belly here. Then exhale, release down. Lift the back leg, step back, downward facing dog. One breath here. Then inhale, rock forward again to plank. And this time, keeping the body in a straight line as best you can. Bend the elbows and descend all the way to the floor, touching everything at the same time if possible. Bring the forehead down. We'll do a couple of back bends here. Bhujangasana, cobra pose. So plant the hands directly underneath the shoulders. Legs are together. Ground the pubic bone. Lift the belly. Elbows are in by the ribs. And inhale, lift from the upper back. Chin is parallel to the floor. Breathe here. So don't worry about straightening the arms. Shoulders are back and down. Chest is open. And exhale, release. 2 more of these. Inhale, lift. Maybe have to go a little bit deeper. Deep breaths. And descend. Last one. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, descend. Just bring the forehead to the floor. Put the palms underneath the forehead actually. Just stack them. Just allow the back to settle slightly before you move again. And then plant the hands and inhale and just come up to seat to heels. We'll move into Virasana pose, hero pose. So you may need a block for this, depending on your knees. So knees come together. Take the flesh of the calves, push them out to the side, and then sit in between the heels. So this might be too much for you. If that's the case, you can sit on this block, which probably will feel a lot better. So the tops of the feet are to the floor. Try and ground these little toes. Make sure the thighs are coming directly out from the hips. So whether your seat is on the floor or you're on the block, you can stay here and just center in, or you may be able to walk back and lean on the hands. You may be able to come back to the elbows. If your seat is on the floor, you may be able to descend all the way down. So pick your position. If you're on the floor, grab the elbows and relax. This is a great pose to open the fronts of the thighs, the psoas, the whole front body. If you're feeling any pain in your knees, you should come out immediately. There's no knee pain in yoga. Just do the position that's good for your body. Apparently this reclined version of hero is one of the only poses, yoga poses, you can do on a full stomach. I heard that once in a yoga class. I've never tried it though. One more breath here. And then whatever version you're in, if you're reclined, use the elbows to push up. And then come forward onto the knees, place the hands down, and we just want to bring a bit of circulation back into the legs. So release the right leg behind and just rock back and forth on the ball of the foot. And then the other side, very gently. Hero is a great pose for the knees, where they're compressed and stretched in that position. Once you come out, the joint gets a fresh rush of blood and oxygen, fluids to the area, rejuvenating it. And now we'll make our way onto the seat. So I will face you for these poses. Bring the legs out in front, and this is where you may need your belt. Bring the left knee into the chest and plant the left foot directly on the floor, close to the seat, so the shin is sort of parallel with the femur bone. Take your left fist, and you should have a fist distance in between the foot and the inner thigh. Plant the right hand behind. Inhale, lift the left arm up. Then exhale, reach inside this leg. Internally rotate the shoulder and bring this behind. So I'll just show you this. So your back of your hand is on like your butt. Inhale the right arm round, and maybe you combine so that bring this around. Grab whatever you can. If you can't reach, you can always use a belt. So you get the position. You can also grab clothing. So do what's right for you. And breathe here. Allowing the chest to fall towards the leg. Keeping the collarbones wide. And then inhale, lift. Bring this foot into the inner thigh. We'll move into head to knee pose, Janu Sirsasana. Inhale the arms up and exhale, tip forward from the waist, maybe grabbing the foot. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, descend. So your hands might come to the floor. You can also use your belt here. Don't be attached about grabbing the foot. Try and think of chin to shin. So we want to come forward, but we also want to lift out of the waist. Then inhale, lengthen the spine, come back to center. Bring this left leg in. Just clasp it a bit, straighten the spine. Left hand comes behind, and we'll move into Marichyasana C. So inhale the right arm up, twist from the midriff, hook this elbow outside the thigh. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, twist. In twists, we lengthen on the inhale and rotate on the exhale. And inhale, come back. Just do a counter twist over to the other side briefly. And then release the leg. Move into the second side. So Marichyasana A. Bring the foot flat to the floor, directly in line with the femur. Make sure you've got that fist distance between your foot and the inner thigh. Straighten the spine. Inhale, lift up the right arm. Inhale, come forward, internally rotate. And if you can bind with the hands or with a belt or just holding your clothing. Keeping the collarbones wide, descend down over the leg. And inhale, slowly come up. Release this knee out to the side, allowing the sole of the foot to come into the inner thigh. Inhale, lengthen it at the waist, and exhale, tipping from the hips. Come forward, lengthen and descend. Settle down into the pose and release. These forward bends are stimulants for the parasympathetic nervous system, so that's the system that calms us. And when we're tired, this is ideal. When we're on alert in our fight or flight mode, which is activated by the sympathetic nervous system, we use a lot of energy and we get this adrenaline rush. So when we're tired, we want the opposite, really. Inhale, come up and release Marichyasana C. So bringing this foot, ground this right foot flat to the floor. Inhale, the right arm behind you. Left arm lifts, and then we twist from the waist. Deep inhale to lengthen, deep exhale to rotate. Last breath here. And inhale, come forward to center. A little counter twist over to the other side. And then release the foot. We'll come into Baddha Konasana. So we did this at the beginning on our backs. Bring the soles of the feet together. Interlace the fingers around the feet. Really push the heels together, lengthen out the spine, and then open the thighs. So you can stay up here, or you can come forward, tipping from the hips. Elbows can come into the inner thighs to give you a little bit of leverage. Try and keep the spine straight and descend forward. So open your feet like that it's a book. Keeping the heels together. This is what opens the legs in this pose. So I found this pose quite difficult. But I'm happy with where I am with it. Maybe one day my chest will reach the ground, maybe not, it doesn't matter. As with all of these poses, the end result is never what the goal is. The whole purpose of them is to see what you learn about yourself along the way as you deal with the challenges that they may present to you. And that's a physical as well as a mental challenge. Then inhale, slowly come back up. Take the hands outside the knees and just push them together. And we'll move back onto the back. So try and use the strength of the core to lower down vertebra by vertebra. As slow as you can go. That's a creaky floorboard, by the way, not my back. And then bring the feet directly underneath the knees. Just reach down and touch the back of the heels to get your position. Make sure the feet are parallel. Then inhale, lift the pelvis up and come into bridge pose. So you can place the hands on the floor, the backs of the arms on the floor for a bit of support, lifting the chest towards the sky. If you have a block, you may want to do recline and supported bridge. So the block has 3 heights. This is the medium height. I like it on the tallest height. Place it on the sacrum, not on the lower back. So that's the small triangular bone at the base of the spine. And relax here. This is good counter pose for all those forward bends. And then if you have the block in place, just place it to one side and lower the spine vertebra by vertebra with the pelvis coming down last. Bring the feet as wide as the mat and just windscreen wiper the knees side to side. And then leave them over on the right side. You can stay here, bring the arms into cactus, or maybe lift this right leg and place the foot on the outside of the left knee, just giving yourself a little assist to make the twist a bit deeper. You can turn to the left if that's okay on the head and the neck, and surrender down into the earth. And inhale, come back up. Windscreen wiper the legs a couple of times. And then leave them over to the left side. Maybe lift this left leg and put the ankle on top of the outside of the right knee. Maybe turn the head to face to the right and surrender down. Inhale, back to center. Bring the knees up parallel, directly above the hips. Place a hand on each knee, bring them into the chest, and then slowly separate the legs. Feet come up to the sky. Grab the outside of the feet for happy baby, pulling the knees into the armpits. So keep the entire length of the spine on the floor as best you can. If you can't reach the feet, you can just grab the thighs or the calves, whatever is good for you. Maybe rock gently from side to side. Moving into the end of the practice now. And then bring the knees into the center. One more tight little squeeze. And then release the legs one at a time down to the floor. Allow the feet to flop open. The backs of the hands come to the floor. Tuck the shoulders under. Lengthen the back of the neck and tuck the chin slightly. Close the eyes. Release the breath. And allow your body to melt and settle in to the support of the earth. Start to bring some awareness into the fingers and toes. Then bring the knees in one at a time into the chest. Then allow yourself to roll over onto the right side. Try and keep the eyes closed. Bring the palms together in a prayer underneath the head. Then when you're ready, push the body up to a seated position, whatever feels good for you. Spine nice and tall. If you want to feel grounded, place the palms face down on the knees. If you want to feel more energized and uplifted, place the palms facing upwards. So do whatever feels good for you. We'll take one deep inhale together. Deep exhale. Bring the palms together at the front of the heart. Bow the head slightly. Thank yourself for taking the time on your mat today. Hopefully you're feeling refreshed. Slowly flutter the eyes open. Thank you for practicing with me today, and I hope to see you again soon.